you ask out of this whole field of stars of all these lives that you lived, which one would give you the answer or the empowerment that you're looking for as the purpose?
You know it's going to be a good show when I start off giggling. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Monsters Lounge Podcast. I'm Jenny.
Hi, I'm Tressa.
I don't know why. I just got a case of the giggles. That's right. I said it.
I love that
I'm
for
90.
you.
Yeah. Listen, I was perusing the chat a little bit as we were getting started, and apparently our shirts and phone case are selling like hotcakes. And by hotcakes, I mean one.
Yeah. No, you mean 1,000.
1,000. I mean, get them while they're hot.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Cosmic Joe. You know where to find them. Monsters Lounge Podcast. What? Listen, it's
so
been
I'm
a
90
rough night.
and Tressa can't talk.
Nope.
Yeah, we did a little bit of scrambling tonight, but I'm very excited.
Me too.
Because our last minute, thank you. Yes. Who came in to save us tonight is a delight. Like 5 seconds before the show, we're already excited about this. So our guest, Alethea Jacob, she has 4 decades of experience. She is a seasoned intuitive, a spiritual life coach, a teacher, a speaker. As a certified practitioner in NLP and hypnotherapy, both of which I'm going to learn about tonight. She brings a unique blend of techniques to her practice. Her dedication extends globally, having worked with clients and students worldwide. Throughout her career, she has been instrumental in guiding individuals to transform their businesses, enhance their lives, and rediscover their purpose, passion, and joy for living, which I am all about.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to her a little bit about that, and then she's going to do a general reading for us, for everybody in the chat. And I'm assuming we'll be included in there, although I might step out of that one. I don't know if I want to know things. I always get nervous. I don't want to know.
Yeah, listen, I get it. But maybe it's just some guidance. Maybe it's just, hey, it's all right. You're on the right track, lady. It's fine.
That could be good instead of like, you've gone terribly awry.
No, it's not going to be, well, maybe.
I mean, it might be. We never know.
But yeah, in the chat, keep up because maybe you'll get a personal reading. Just, come on, let's go. Let's do this. Are we ready?
Let's do it. I'm going to try to keep up with the chat too. So
yeah, I'm trying.
We'll see. I'm so hard. But anyway,
ladies and gentlemen,
help me welcome Alethea.
Yay! Thank you, Alethea, so much.
Yeah.
Oh, delighted to be here, ladies. Absolutely delighted.
Yes, thank you. Now,
Spirit has in mind. What I didn't tell you, ladies, earlier, because we only had a couple minutes there, is that I was supposed to be on another show earlier this afternoon, and the host there forgot to put it on his schedule. And so I'm sitting and waiting for the link. And I'm like, all dressed up and no place to go. And I was like, I thought I was going to be talking to people today and doing readings and fun things. And so about an hour ago when Michelle texted me, she said, by any chance? I was like, oh, heck yeah. I was all ready for it. Why not?
Spirit's like, I got something better for you. You don't need to do that other show.
Listen, as Tressa likes to scream at me nonstop, there's no such thing as coincidences.
That's correct.
She yells it a lot. It's weird when she does it at night, though.
Listen, you don't listen, so I need to scream it. So that's fine.
I love your backdrop, ladies. It's so cool because I can't tell. Are you actually like in the same place, or is it like green screens that meet, or it's like really cool?
This is our compound that we live in with a small
it's our summer compound
with many animals that we love.
It's an awesome look. I love it. It's
you.
Suitably spooky cool. You know, it has that kind of vibe to it. I love it.
Exactly what we were going for. Appreciate
Precisely.
it.
Plus teal.
Perfect.
Yes. And our portraits.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Oh, there I am. There we go.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That's cool. Well, that's very like Harry Potter-esque. I love it.
Yeah. We aim to please. That's what happens.
Nice.
Listen, now, when I was in college, I pretended that I could read palms, mostly at frat parties.
Nice.
And occasionally
Smart
when the
woman.
dude was cute, you know, like, hey, you'll meet a really great girl tonight. But you,
it's me.
It's hint. But you actually can do that, right? Which blows my mind, right? Like it's been around forever, right?
It's really fun. Yeah. And in fact, I learned from this like crazy gypsy dude in Italy when I was traveling the world in the Muse.
Number one, best story ever. All right.
So cool. But so what I like to do when I read somebody's palm is basically kind of teach them. And so like if people want to look at their own palm, I can kind of explain like the lines and what means what, because certain things mean different things. And the very first thing when you look at your palm, first of all, right hand, left hand, the prevailing wisdom is the left hand is what you were given and the right hand is what you did with it. Right. So if you look at them, they're almost a mirror. Right. So if you put your hands together and you look at both your lines, you would say they're pretty darn close, but they're not identical. Right. And you're like, I wonder what that's about.
Oh, no.
Right. So,
I've gone terribly wrong.
And then, so, you know, the first thing that people always ask about is the lifeline. And that's the long line that kind of starts. I'm going to do it backwards because I'm normally looking at a hand. It's the long one that kind of goes around the palm here. And so when you're looking at it, you want to see how long does it go, right? How deep are the lines? The deeper the line, the richer the quality of whatever that particular line represents. If there's a gap in the line, that's a choice point of do I stay or do I go, right? Because we have in our lives, many of us have been given, you know, the choices of like, hey, if I've screwed this up beyond repair and I'm not on my soul's purpose, take me out, recycle me, let's get back on track, right? That's right. So a lot of times when you hear about people that, you know, they're critically ill or they're in a coma or this crazy disease or accident, you know, happened and, you know, everyone's praying for them and sending energy to them and they don't know if it's touch and go. And then they come back. Almost always that person has a huge shift in consciousness and is so much more on the course of the trajectory they should have been on. It's a massive reset. And so part of what happens, from what I understand from spirit, is while they're in their coma or while they're unconscious, their spirit's having a conversation going, okay, yeah, we can recycle you. No problem. You want to check out now? Yep. It was a choice point. You got that. But you know what? When you come back, you got to start all over again. And we really don't want to waste another 20, 30 years to get you up to this point. So what do you say? You know, we promise to help you and guide you a little bit. We're going to give you a few more pushes. Do you agree? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, you can come back. And then they come back and they have the miraculous recovery. And then they're like a changed person. And you're like,
that is the best argument for sticking around that I've ever heard. If you don't stick around, you're going to have to do it all over again. Oh, God, no.
Oh, come on. I thought it was like, like this enrichment, like, hey, you know, you've struggled this so hard and you've gotten to this place and you learned all these things. But Trust is like, it's just you got to do it over again.
No, absolutely not.
What I have found most of the times is our guides, our guardian angels and guides are giving us a hug and kicking us in the butt at the same time. It's like, we love you and it's our job to keep you going or to keep you straight or to do a course correction if something distracted you, like, oh, squirrel, wait, no, shiny thing. No, get back on track. You know?
That happens all the time.
Too many people have spiritual ADHD, you know? They find one little thing and they're like, oh, it's shiny. And they just like get lost in it. And it's like, yeah, that was like the entry tool. You were supposed to do so much more than just play with that little thing, but that's all right.
But that little thing's so neat.
Yeah, that little thing is really neat.
This actually is so fascinating to me because every time I hear about someone coming back from a near-death experience and they're like, man, I'm so happy to be back here. It was amazing on the other side. But now I'm so happy. And I'm like, why though? It sounds like the best thing that has ever happened ever over there. Well, why do you want to be here?
But listen, have you tried s'mores ice cream?
Well, the reason we come back and the reason we keep coming back and the part of the reason we have the veil of forgetfulness is because there's certain things that we can only do in physical body and experience on the physical plane because of the limitations that were built into the system in order for us to have the learnings and to be able to have the experiences. On the other side, it's amazing. There's a sense of oneness. There's a sense of, love, forgiveness, clarity, understanding. But you're right. You can't eat chocolate ice cream or pizza over there. They don't have taste buds. They don't have that physicality. Yeah. In fact, a lot of spirits will come back and they'll say to me that they're like the angel on the shoulder of their loved ones, traveling with them and living vicariously through them to have some of the experiences that they didn't get a chance to have when they were in physical form. So there's things that it's great to be spirit because you can be everywhere, anytime, past, present, future. You can be with as many people as you want. It's like threads of a tapestry. The tapestry is your soul, but your threads can be all over the place and touching and sharing and experiencing and loving and blessing and guiding and helping all your friends, all your loved ones, wherever you want to be simultaneously. It's like we think bilocation is a great trick. To spirit, that's nothing. We can be everywhere, anytime, all at once.
But no ice cream. No ice cream, no chocolate. No ice cream. I'm assuming no tacos. No. These are lifeblood.
I can't enjoy food as it is. I don't care about food. Right. I just want to be happy.
All right.
Right. And a lot of the physical beauty that's here, music, the music that we have here, the nature that we have here, the love that we have for each other and the animals that we care for. Those things, some of those can stay in spirit, right? The animals we love for sure. When we love a dog or a cat or horse or whatever the animal is, we help them individuate their consciousness away from the group soul of dog or cat or horse. And they become our Fluffy or Spot or Flash or Ginger, whatever, right? Now, once they have that name and they're an individuated spirit and soul, they can have that love, that connection, and that connection never dies. That's why they're always with us. If they pass first, their little spirits come and visit and hang out with us. If we pass first, they catch up and find us later.
I can't get past the fact that you named my first pet Ginger the cat.
Really? Way cool. Ding, ding, ding.
That was not a ginger cat at all, but I was obsessed with Gilligan's Island.
Literally no way that cat was ginger.
No.
Not with you.
No.
That's probably a little, I call them God winks, like when spirit does something little fun like that, it's like, my little God wink up. She's saying, hi, I'm still around, Mama.
I love that.
All right.
That's exactly what it is.
My house is so full of pets, man, apparently, if these guys are hanging around, and I'm excited about it. But we were talking about like the little bit of palm reading, but I know that there's a bunch of stuff that we also want to cover. So we've got our lifeline, and then just
sure. So you have your lifeline, and then you have your heart line, which goes across the top. That's like your love line. It tells you about relationships. And then you have your career line, which is kind of in the middle of the two of them. And the things that you want to look at are like, and what you want to look for are there intersections of lines? Do lines kind of break or stop? Do some get deeper? Do they continue again? There's different zones, like the zone of, this is emotional impact all around the thumb. So if there's a lot of little lines there, if it's farther in the, this is where it starts. So if that's your past, as you get more towards your future, it usually calms down. You can see sometimes, like I had a major trauma in my life when my father died. I was only 25, and that trauma line is here in my past, and it intersects my lifeline because it was that profound. Across the top here, each of the fingers can represent an archetype. So it's interesting to see, like, under which finger do you have lines, vertical lines? Were you meant to be the artist, the teacher, the healer, or the mystic, or warrior, right? And so it's like, okay, that'll give you some insight. Sometimes they say, well, if you bend your little pinky like that, you can see lines here that will tell you about loved ones or children that you have. What children can be, children of our hearts, adopted kids, or fur babies, or the literal ones. So there's all kinds of fun things that we can see here. You can see if there was a false start, like you started with love, it seemed really good, and then it went up, and that became a spiritual love versus the physical love. It started as a physical love because it was more flat when it goes across. So there's all kinds of little things. So like if I'm at a party and I'm reading for somebody, everybody else is looking around. They're looking at their palm. They're looking, that was that means. So it's fun. It's basically any tool that we use, whether it's angel cards, oracle cards, mandala cards, tarot cards, whether we use pendulums, whether we use the Ouija board, but the Ouija board is just too darn slow. Why do you want to spell out letter by letter by letter by letter? Oh, is that a word? Yeah. When you can just sit down and open up and channel whole, pages at a time, right? Or get a whole sentence or a whole download. So
we have cell phones now. We don't have time for one letter at a time.
Exactly. So there's no great magic or mystery in any specific tool. The tools are what resonates with you as the reader and what makes your client who's receiving the reading feel most at ease. So some people, will be like, oh, wow, palms, way cool. And, oh, wow, there's a science behind it. And my lines mean something. So it doesn't seem too scary to them compared to perhaps the tarot cards, which, depending on how they were raised, might be like, oh, well, that's like scary stuff. It's like, not really. It's when you understand that it's just a playing card deck, and instead of having 56 cards, it has 78 cards because it has 22 extra of these major arcana. And what arcana means is ancient wisdom. And so it's major ancient wisdom that are in there and represented. It just weaves it all together. But, tools, to me, I just love getting tools. Ever since I was a baby psychic, I worked at psychic fairs to hone my skill. I used to call it psychic boot camp. I would work every weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. I would work from 11 o'clock until 6 p.m. at a hotel, and they would rent the ballroom out for this group. And we would do readings, a whole bunch of different psychics there, vendors. It was a whole big party feel. But people would sit down, they'd give you a ticket, and they'd say, okay, 15 minutes, bell would ring. Okay, I'd like you to read my aura. Okay, great. And then the bell would ring, and then they'd get up, next person sit down, hand me a ticket. Okay, I'd like you to read my palm. Oh, can you read my angel cards? Oh, can you do a tarot reading? Can you talk to my guide? Hey, here's a picture of my dead guinea pig. Can you tell me about my guinea pig that passed?
It really is boot camp.
It totally is.
It's like speed dating for psychics.
Yeah, it's rapid fire.
I never knew what was going to come. And it gave me not just a flexibility of I can like turn it on anywhere, anytime, but I can do it just if there's a distraction, no big deal. Because in the hotel, there was anywhere from 5 to 10 other psychics at tables all talking to people. There's vendors talking, there's music playing, there's people milling around. And so I learned how to be able to tune in very quickly, get you what you need, and make sure you feel like you got your money's worth after that 15 minutes, right? So that was fun. I did that for about 10 years.
I've always wondered about that because we'll go to these conventions and like we've got a couple of buddies who do it, and and they'll be giving readings or they'll be doing, like I've seen like Reiki
massage healing,
and all of that stuff in the middle of these conventions, and I've always been like, how in the heck are they like concentrating enough to be able to really achieve what they want to achieve there. But apparently they've all just been to boot camp.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that most people don't realize until they hear it, and then they go like, oh, of course it makes so much sense. We have a human potential to be intuitive. We are wired that way. It's in our genes. It has to be, because our ancestors were the ones that had the intuition to know that cave has the saber-toothed tiger. Don't go there. This is the one that's empty. Sleep there tonight. Right? They knew. Mm-hmm. They knew where the food was. They knew when the rains were coming. They knew when it was safe. They knew. So we have that all in our DNA. And so it's a human potential, just like music, right? Anybody who comes from a musical family, they're going to play an instrument, sing, or probably love music and perform, right? Most likely. Well, there's a lot of intuitive lines of people. I'm the oldest daughter of the oldest daughter of the oldest daughter. And so in my family, there was more telepathy than talking most of the time. You didn't have to, you weren't home. We didn't have cell phones. You didn't need it. You're like, you hear mom screaming in my head, dinner's ready. Okay, mom, I'm coming. I'm on my way. That was that. It wasn't unusual. It was normal. Just like in a musical family, people would be, playing and singing all the time. And just like if you're not in a musical family, but you want to learn an instrument or learn how to sing, you can find teachers, you can find videos, you can practice, you can pick up an instrument. So same thing with the psychic abilities and spiritual gifts. You might say, oh, I always wanted to see an aura. I wonder what I can see if I could see an aura. Or, geez, if I could talk to a guide or a loved one in spirit, I wonder what they would tell me. Or, geez, I wonder if I could figure out what these cards mean. Would that be helpful at all? And I really encourage people to be playful, have a sense of curiosity. That's the best way to do it.
And treat it like a lesson. Treat it like something you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it. But very much play with it.
Yeah, for sure. And I love all of this stuff, and we're gonna get to a little bit more of this, and then also some other stuff when we get back from this break.
NLP when we're back.
Hey, boys and ghouls, Neil here from Graveside Paranormal Ghost Tours. Join us on October 26th in Watseka, Illinois for the seance at the Roth House, known for the story of the Watseka Wonder, the first documented possession in America, or was it a spiritual miracle? In the end, you decide. We're going to be having ghost tours throughout the house every hour on the hour, from 1 p.m. to about 2 o'clock in the morning. We are going to have vendors. We're going to have speakers. Miss Diet Renee will also be out there doing the seance at 7:30 at night. And guess what, girls and boys? We are also going to be filming a documentary. So each and every one of you can be part of this unique experience. So go to gravesideparanormal.com to further details about our event, or on Facebook, and go to Eventbrite at The Seance at the Roth House. So grab your holy water, call your mama, and boo.
All right, welcome back. Now, I do want to get in
your holy water.
We love Neil.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go check that out.
That was good. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. Everyone should go.
It's gonna be good stuff. All right.
Sorry.
Really yes, I'm so upset at you for enjoying the commercial. Please don't enjoy things when you're here. That's one of the main things we like to get across is no enjoyment.
We're very serious.
I would like to hear about the NLP because I needed to ask Tressa about that right before we started. I don't
know anything about it, so I just told her what the abbreviation was.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and it was originally designed by Dr. Richard Bandler and John Grinder back, oh my goodness, I'm thinking it's probably in the 60s. Is when they first developed it, although don't quote me on that. But what it is a way to communicate and understand the way that we all communicate for therapeutic purposes is how it originally was designed. And then in later years, it was expanded and applied to all kinds of things. So for example, understanding that there's modalities, and just like there's certain people that are clairaudient because they hear more, or clairvoyant because they see more, we can tell how people communicate by listening and observing and noticing the patterns in their language. And do they say, oh my God, it was just so amazing. You know, I saw this and this and this, and they use all these visually referencing words. That gives you a clue like, oh, this person is really visual. So I probably should give them a starter exercise of clairvoyance versus learning how to listen and channel information from hearing it from spirit, right? So that's one way. The other thing is it can help with counseling, because that was one of the first things that I did. I worked for a Fortune 500 company as an executive consultant for many years. I stayed with them for about 18 years. And then I got the information from spirit. I was supposed to leave and do my stuff freelance and help individuals and small businesses and whatnot. But one of the reasons NLP was very interesting is when you're doing counseling work with a couple, for example, the wife would say, oh, he never shows me that he loves me. And he says, what do you mean? I tell you I love you all the time, right? And the two of them aren't realizing, like, well, you just said, show me. So what does he need to do to show you? Oh, he doesn't get me a card, or he doesn't do flowers, or he doesn't clean up the kitchen, or he doesn't put his socks in the hamper. So she's looking for all these visual cues. And meanwhile, he's like, but I tell her I love her all the time. And I express, all these sweet nothings and blah, blah, this kind of thing. And I sit there as the counselor almost laughing, because it's like, you both love each other. You're just talking two different languages. It's like you're talking Spanish and she's talking English. We just got to get you both understanding the same language, and how to interpret that. Because there was nothing wrong with the relationship. They just weren't communicating properly because one had a certain way versus the other. Then there's things called convincer strategies, right? It's like some people, once they hear it once, I've been told, I love you. I got it. I only needed it once. There's people that have to hear it 3 times. Okay. Once I've heard it 3 times, I know it's real. There's other people that their convincer strategy is, you have to tell me every day, or I don't know that you love me. Okay.
Jenny's response is sending me. She is not on board for once ever. I need validation daily, please. Is what Jay
doesn't have to be. Listen, it doesn't have to be daily, but it's got to be a bunch, right?
More than once ever. Right. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but like,
man,
gifts,
am I right?
I don't care. Gifts, no big deal. But trust me, you love gifts.
Listen, exactly. I love to give gifts. I love to. Yeah. I love to.
Love language. That's your love language.
It very much is.
Right. Oh. And then there's also, how do you sort? Do you sort by self? Do you sort by others? Do you sort by sameness? Do you sort by difference? Right. So understanding your patterns and the people that are you're most involved with, and certainly any of your clients, it's very helpful to make your communications with them more effective and to help them make the changes that they need to. That's like this much what NLP is. NLP, it's beautiful.
Explain the rest.
That's all we can absorb right now anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Go ahead. I didn't realize that because I definitely see in pictures. I definitely think in pictures. I think in visual, like I can find my way around, not by actually knowing directions, because you tell me north and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
But if you tell me like by that blue sign that kind of looks like a dolphin, like I'm there. I remember that.
Where are you?
I'm at a lot of water parks.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That checks out.
Right, but I didn't know that was something that could then be used as an exercise to help you develop clairvoyance.
Oh yeah, it's one of the tools of self-awareness, so that once you understand what your own modalities are and how you operate in the world, then you can also see where your blind spots might be with interacting with other people, as well as why perhaps you really gravitate to other people that are similar to you, or they might be the complementary filling that gap or that blind spot you have might be one of their strengths. So it can help to explain a lot. It's really fascinating. There's loads of books on it. There's still classes. I believe he's still teaching. I studied with Dr. Bandler back in, at least 15 years ago, maybe now. But I do believe he's still teaching. And there's lots of good teachers out there as well that do it. But it's fascinating stuff, and
it really is.
It applies to all parts of your life, because where do we not communicate? Your business, your relationships. So it's a good thing. And hypnosis, I was going for a PhD in clinical hypnotherapy, and got about halfway through when I got derailed by love and wound up making a major career change. But I had studied an awful lot, and that's a story for another night, ladies.
Yes, of course.
Not for public consumption.
That'll be on our Patreon.
Yeah,
or that would require a little bit of wine. If you have like a wine session, then,
I don't approve.
Oh, that's amazing. Like I've heard of,
is great for psychic stuff as well, because learning how to relax yourself, to open up to spirit, and then to work with other people to do like past life regressions. That's a highly spiritual thing to do for somebody. And it's very easy. That's one of the things that I did learn how to do in the first half of the PhD curriculum. And so it's really very interesting that our soul, our spirit, our mind, our consciousness can expand and be directed to go where we need it. And learning how to do that for ourselves or to help others do that is what hypnotherapy is about. And, and some people, think, I can use it to help me, lose weight or stop smoking. Again, that's a very limited application. How about, why don't you find out what your soul's purpose is and go back to a lifetime where you were a master of that, and bring into this lifetime some of that knowledge and those gifts and those abilities, and really rock the world.
Seriously, find your course, and then find that knowledge back in that past life. What are you doing with the weight loss and the stop smoking? Come on, you can do better than that, because that other stuff's boring.
Yeah. And if you have
when are you doing the past life regression again? When
if you have a fear or a phobia too that you can't explain. Like I had one client one time, she was petrified of water. And she's like, I don't understand it. I never drowned, as a kid. I never fell off a boat. But she was petrified. She wouldn't go on a cruise because she was so afraid. What if the boat goes down? I can't swim. I'm afraid of water. And so we did a regression. And sure enough, in a past life that came up, she drowned. And it was at a storm. It was like an old schooner sailboat off the Nova Scotia coast during some winter nor'easter or something, and why she was out in a boat, who the hell knows. But anyway, once she got that connection and understood it, it kind of like broke the curse in a way. Curse, but it kind of helped her understand it, and she realized, oh wait, that was then, this is now. I don't need to still be afraid of that anymore. I can let that go. And so then she was able to, baby steps, but get out there and, get in a pool and let me learn how to swim, and then get on a small little rowboat, right off the shore in a lake, that was small, small steps. But she was able to do that once she realized what was the cause of this phobia, which was, as most fears and phobias that we have that aren't rational, usually have a spiritual or a, consciousness cause to them. And so
for sure,
we can use our tools to help get some insight and figure out what do we need to help them. I look at all the different tools and all of the reasons of doing readings for people or sessions for people as a way to be a life coach. And I look at my job as I'm kind of like the bridge. I help you get from where you're at to where you need to go, help you figure out where do you want to go. And also I help the people that are too grounded in the reality of the physicality understand you are so much more than your physical bodies. Let me introduce people that are way too woo-woo and into the spiritual stuff that they can't even communicate, with folks, because they created this, ritualistic code that, you know, they can't function in the world unless they've had a ritual bath and burned 3 sticks of incense and chanted and, you know, did the bowl dance, you know, then I can work. You know, it's like, oh, okay, that's not real practical. And it's going to be hard for you to really communicate with people who, you know, might be interested, but you're going to scare them. You're going to like, your weirdness is going to scare them. It's like, let's be a little bit more down to earth, because by the way, you're not super duper special because you can do this. This is a human potential. It's a
I love
gift.
that. I love that idea.
Yes.
I love that idea of bridging that gap, you know, like all of these things that you're saying have a little bit of that woo in them, but also in like a, you know, counseling or psychological aspect, like it's fascinating to get, because you would think, you know, most people know, oh, if I have a fear of this thing, it's because this has happened to me before, you know, but looking back into your entire history is not something that I would have immediately thought of.
Yeah.
Real quick. Joan Costello in the chat is asking, how can you find that knowledge in a past life and bring it in this life? I want to do that. As an uninformed person, I'm going to say you should do hypnotherapy. This is my favorite part of the show where I talk about myself.
Yeah, obviously. Hang on, everybody. Tressa's about to talk about herself. Hang on, Tressa. Okay.
You ready? Okay.
Yes.
So I did a past life regression recently, not so recently. And it was very uncomfortable, and I hated it, and it was not fun. I will never do it again because it brought up a lot of trauma that I did not want to relive. But I will also mention that I went to the waiting room after my life, and I saw the council, and it was described perfectly by Dave's guest on Monday on Paranormal 60, very tall beings that gave me my life review and everything that I should be doing. And I thought that was pretty neat because, that's what it is. It's just there, and I'm smart. You're welcome.
I wouldn't have thought you were smart until you actually said it.
You're welcome, I said.
But now that you've said it, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry you had a bad experience with that, because there's the sequence for a life review or a regression, the way that I typically will do it. And this is to answer your viewer's question as well, because you can do it for yourself. It's a lot easier if you have the facilitator, coach, practitioner, hypnotist, whatnot, regressionist guiding you, but you can do it on your own. And I'll tell you the steps really quickly. Is you meditate back and you start to think of what's a memory that you can remember, let's say it depends what age you're starting at. I'm in my 60s, so something I can remember in my 50s, and then my 40s, and then maybe down to my 20s. And then what's the earliest thing I can remember in my childhood? And then imagine what it'll feel like if I could remember what it was like to be in my mother's womb. And then I usually chime a chime, something like this, or one of my bowls or bells. Oh, sorry, doggy. He's like, you don't know how that is to my ears. I'm so sorry, puppy. He just jumped up. He was sleeping so soundly by my feet. Sorry, buddy. And when they hear that chime, it's like you're going to go back to the place you were in between lives when you were planning this lifetime, and you were with a guide who's going to assist and tell you, you know, these are your parents, this is what the big picture chunks of what this life was about. But then notice, if you pull back from that, it's like being up on a cloud and looking at the universe of all the stars. Each one of those stars that are twinkling is a lifetime. And so what you can do is ask Spirit, which lifetime should I go explore with my consciousness to find the answer that I'm looking for? So before you even start, you have an intention. I want to know why I have this problem, or I want to supercharge my life and find this gift. Or I want to know why I keep running into the same pattern. Or, hey, I feel this immediate connection with this friend or family member or this new person I met. I feel like I trust them. I love them. I'm thinking of leaving my husband for them. What the hell is this about? Right? Whatever. Right? It can be as drama laden or not as you want it to be, but you want an answer. And so you ask out of this whole field of stars of all these lives that you lived, which one would give you the answer or the empowerment that you're looking for as the purpose. And then you imagine that with the guide as you're by your side, you go down to this place and you step into the being that you were. And so now you start to imagine and take note of, look at your hand. What color is it? Does it look like a worker's hand? Is it gloved? Has jewels on it? Look at your feet. Are you wearing shoes? Boots? Look around, look at your clothing, look around and make mental notes of all this. And then observe. And if you can't understand the language, ask the guide to translate for you, right? And it's kind of like being like the ghost of Christmas past, right? You're not interfering with anything that's there, but you're able to observe it. You don't have to relive it because you're dissociated from it. It's like watching a movie, right? You don't have to get sucked in and experience any of the pain. In fact, you shouldn't experience pain. You shouldn't experience a negative emotion. It's a fact-finding mission, right? I know, which I'm really sorry you did, because that really shouldn't happen. You should have been protected and set up in the way that wouldn't happen. But that's,
I knew better. I should have been able to ground myself before, but I was just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So you're the real you're like the spiritual adrenaline junkie. It's like
I very much am.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. And the only reason I'm here now, the only reason I'm here now is because I was like, hey, guide, shut up. I'm going to go back on Earth. And he was like, really? Because every time you go there, it sucks and you hate it. And I was like, shut up. I'm going back. Yeah. And he was like, okay, have fun.
To be fair, that's what she says to me a lot too.
Yes, that is true.
Shut up. We're going to go do this right now. But
one of the things... Can I just finish real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
no,
please.
Course. Absolutely.
I don't want to leave people hanging. So once you're done exploring and you're there, then you consciously go back to that place in between lives. So you give gratitude for the learning, the gift, the empowerment, the knowledge, whatever it is that you got there. You kind of go back up there. And then from that place, you ask to come back to where you started. And you're very specific. I want to come back to Wisconsin. It is, what is it today? It's November. It is not November. It is September the 3rd, 2024. And, back into this time, this place, and you reground back into this body, this physicality with full memory of what you experienced and bringing for access to that gift, knowing that anytime you need to, you can very quickly return to that place because now it's familiar. Just like you can think of any memory from your past in this life and you can kind of send your consciousness back there and relive it. You can do that there if there's more pieces to the puzzle that you need. And so that kind of closes out the exercise and brings it back around. So I didn't want to leave them stuck in some past life there in case they were, for the viewers at home, in case they were following along.
I'm really glad that you finished that out, because I was just like, we'll just move on. No, I'm very glad that you did.
Yes,
otherwise we just have people out in the nether. Floating around.
Responsible spiritualism, right?
Yeah, seriously, knocking on my door with their little spiritual fist, like, come on, man.
What are you doing?
What are you doing to me here?
We need to take another break, but when we get back, I want to do this group reading with Tara.
Yeah,
you guys
I'm ready.
All right. Let's watch an amazing ad.
Oh, hey, Tressa. Jenny? Oh, I'm just reading my book by international TV sensation, Dave Schrader. I'm reading the book, too. I don't remember the name of it or who wrote it, but yeah. There, I like your shirt. I got it on monstersloungepodcast.com. You've got a great shirt, too. Oh, that's so weird. I got it at monstersloungepodcast.com, too. They have really great stuff. A whole variety. I know, right? They have everything. Shirts, tote bags, clutches, a phone case, I think. It's the best.
What a great app.
All right. How do we do this? How do we do this group reading thing? How does that happen? I've never been in one or anything.
So I have asked Spirit. I said a little prayer and kind of tuned in, and I asked for messages that would mean something to your audience, whether they're actually listening to it live or if they see the recording a month from now or a year from now, right? So the vibe here. So the very first card that came, it's an angel card, and it is the card of laughter, which I thought was very appropriate because it seems like that. Mm-hmm. And so it starts off with laughter is a wonderful healer. It shakes out your fears and leaves you feeling happier, clearer, and more relaxed. Remember that angels fly because they take themselves so lightly. All right. So it's important to laugh at yourself and with others. And then the next card that I chose, I have 3 decks that I use. This is a different angel card, and it was the card of acceptance. And so see yourself as others see you through the eyes of the angels with unconditional love and acceptance. In this way, you will inspire and lift everyone else to their highest potential. So I'm gonna do the 3 cards and then tell you how they all weave together for us as a group. And then the last card I chose, this is from a really beautiful deck. It's called a Mandala Oracle deck. And the card that came up was transformation. This is a time for restructuring, positive changes, awakening, and becoming stronger emotionally, being more loving in your core and more comfortable in your interactions with others. So those 3 angel and oracle cards really strike me how important it is that we don't take ourselves seriously, even if we take the work seriously, and that acceptance is the next step towards unconditional love beyond tolerance. Tolerance implies I have to tolerate you. I don't like you. There's something I don't, blah, blah, blah. It's nasty energy, right? But acceptance is this, oh yeah, I get it. You know, however you are, it's perfect for how you need to be, right? And that kind of unconditional love, that's like one step closer. And the transformation here is like, yeah, you know, this is a time of awakening. This is a time for us to kind of step into and shine our lights even more so, and understand that if we have gifts, it is our duty and our, not just our honor and privilege, but it is our duty to use those gifts now, because the world is full of crazy contention and fear and all this other stuff that we don't have to buy into. If we are a source of peace and calm and love and laughter and acceptance, it's hard to be fearful when you're laughing your butt off, right? And spirit is really funny. I mean, half the times they were like patting me on the head, and I'm like, they're like, there, you know, they get it. And I'm like, I start laughing. I'm like, yeah, okay, I did it again. You know, one day I'm doing the dishes and I hear spirit say, I see my dog Flash, who's very, very gifted. He's a Belgian Malinois. He opened up the sliding door. This is winter. Opens up the sliding glass door so you could go into the yard to go potty. Hasn't figured out how to close it yet, but I'm doing the dishes and I see him come back in, and I hear spirit say, you know, you should go close that door. I'm like, yeah, what? It's winter. What? There's nothing up. I'm not worried. You know, 5 minutes go by, I finish. I walk around to go close the door. Too late. A squirrel is in my house. I'm like, why are you hibernating? What are you doing in my house? You know, and I hear spirit laughing, and I'm like, yeah, I got to give it to you. You told me.
Listen, I was busy.
My fault. And I spent the next 3 weeks putting peanuts, trying to get the damn thing out of the house. Oh, sorry. Back to the reading. I'm sorry.
No, I like that. That was a good side note.
The next thing I did is I picked 3 tarot cards, and the deck I use is the Aquarian deck. Partly because I'm really good friends with the author Craig Jean-Julis, who wrote the companion deck, companion book for the tarot deck, and it just came out again after 40 years. He has 100,000 copies sold. They just re-released it. There's such a need and a demand for this stuff, so it's really cool. But I love the deck. So I picked 3 cards, past, present, and future for us. And so the first one, it is the 9 of Rods, and it was reversed, which basically says in our past, we fought our intuitions. 9 is the mastery card. So this should be, if it was right side up, it would be saying, oh yes, we were all masters of our intuition in the past. When it's upside down, it says, no, you were a master, all right, but you kept second guessing yourself, talking yourself out of it, and your intellect was an adversary to your subconscious, to your intuition, instead of being the advocate for it. That's how we were. What's happening now is this is the 8 of Swords, and it's also reversed, which is good, because right side up is a stalemate. It's stuck. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Hey, we're finally listening to our intuition. And so the bonds come off. The blindfolds come off. We have clear vision. We know where to go. We know what to do. When choices come, it's fairly easy to make a good choice based on the spiritual promptings we're getting. And then what does that lead us to? I love it. It's one of our happily ever after cards. This is the 7 of Pentacles. It's a card of travel, of balance. Pentacles is a suit of richness and balance in our life, where we have all 5 aspects of our life: our health, our finances, our relationships, our spirituality, our time, all in balance. So, moral to the story, if you're tuned in tonight, it's reminding you, pay attention to your intuition. When you do that, the way becomes clear. Not only do you know where to go, you have the empowerment and the ability to do so. And it leads you on this incredible journey where you're in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people for you to help them, or them to help you help others. It becomes this flow and magical dance where you have everything you need and balance in your life. So
I love that.
Oh, we had a great one, guys. I like that.
Yeah, good job, everybody.
Yeah, nicely done. Nicely done.
We're doing great.
We're doing big things over here. Oh,
Can I
that's
plug
awesome.
this real quick? Because I know we're getting close to the witching hour there.
You're fine.
Yes,
So,
it is. Yeah, it is.
So
Our next topic is you.
Okay. I have 2 books. One I wrote 8 years ago, and this is a little life coaching book that I was realizing with all those 10 years of boot camp, a lot of the same topics kept coming up over and over and over again. And I'm like, I should just write these little suckers down. And I did. It's a really short book. It's a little bathroom book. It's $5 on Amazon. And it basically gives you the tips on the 5 areas of finances, health, spirituality, relationships, and time, how to get those in balance and reclaim your power in your life. So that's a little old one. This one is filled with, this one just came out in April. It's on Amazon as well. It is filled with uplifting, encouraging passages, questions to reflect on, to figure out what is my purpose in my life. It is beautiful messages from Spirit of Oneness, and it's all channeled, other than the introduction that I wrote. It's all channeled material from Spirit that I took like dictation. As fast as I could write it, it was coming through. So it's called The Portal to Potential, and it's also a love letter to the Monroe Institute, which is
love the Monroe Institute.
Consciousness Institute. And so all the proceeds from this book go to their scholarship fund. I'd like to just kind of spread the love, because it's called the Muse of Monroe, because about 80% of the channel writings happened while I was there at different times over the last 20 years or so. And I'm like, you know what? There's something special about this place. You know, it's like this portal opened up, and whether you're a musician wanting to channel new music, or an artist who wants to paint, or a writer who wants to bring through inspired writings, or a business person who needs the next best idea, or the inventor who needs the next new invention, whatever it is that you're looking for, even, you know, just a normal person who wants to have a better relationship with their lover, their spouse. Hopefully, it should be the same thing, shouldn't it?
Probably. I'm just saying.
It depends on your relationship. It's fine.
Or just, better friendships, better relationships. What I learned is once the portal is open, once you have a channel, you have a connection to source. So it's like having a radio station, and you might have a certain channel, But once you're connected, you can change the channel to whatever you want or need. So in that moment, and this book to me, when you read channeled writing of somebody else, or you look at a painting that was channeled, or you listen to music that's channeled, you have the ability, like a little salmon going upstream, to follow that stream of consciousness back to the source and use it how you want to use it. Get from it what it has for you as a gift. That's the reason to read channeled information. It's not just like, oh, this lifts me up. Well, that's a good enough reason for a lot of people. But you can also use it as a tool to help you find what you want or need in your life and your soul development.
Listen, I think two things. I think that we all have been made aware now that there's something extra special about Monroe.
That's right, Jenny.
Too. I feel like I need to get you this book, Tressa. I really do.
I feel like you also need to get me that book because I want that book. And all of these books will be in the show notes. All the links, everything. If you need to find it and don't want to look, just go in the show notes. It's fine.
Also, how else do we contact you? How does everybody get in touch? How does everybody find you?
So if you want a reading or session, you want to hire me to do a retreat for you guys, whatever, Zoom class, private Zoom classes, I'm all for customization, right? My website is AletheaJacob.com, and my name is spelled a little funny. There's a silent E there. So that's the only thing quiet about me. I'm sure you're already picking that up. There's that E in my first name, but it's AletheaJacob.com. I am co-hosting a retreat in Sedona in November. And so on my website, in the events page or what's happening soon, you can click on that. And that's November 8, 9, and 10. And that is called A Path to Empowerment. And it is all about developing your intuition and figuring out what are my spiritual gifts and how to build and make those more supercharged in your life. It's just a 3-day intensive. But if you feel like you want to get to a beautiful place on the planet, that's also a wonderful portal. Sedona with their vortexes and energies is just a beautiful place to go.
Sedona's
so nuts.
In November. And if you want to put into our GoFundMe so we can go and do that, Jenny and I, that would be great. We haven't made it yet, but we will.
We'll get there.
It's not that expensive compared to other retreats.
But I'm just broke, is what I'm saying.
That's what she's saying. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I will also tell you that I love barter. So if somebody can't afford, I can't do that for the retreat because obviously I'm with somebody else. But for my own personal services, I totally love barter. And if somebody has, if they don't have the money to pay me, don't not reach out. Okay, reach out anyway. There's always a way to figure out, you can wind up sponsoring me. And as your sponsoring fee, you get it for free. If you want one of my classes or workshops, you want a reading, well, what do you do? What do you have to offer? I think that, before we had money, we had this love exchange. What do you do? Okay, I need that. Oh, I need a loaf of bread. Do you need a hunk of meat? Or do you want some milk? I have a cow. You want some cheese? I make this great cheese. I have an orchard. Here's a bushel of apples.
Listen, don't get me started on money. Money is the most stupid thing ever that ever existed.
All right, so you have now gotten a lifelong fan and
it's me,
best friend, and it's Tressa.
It's me.
Well, money is just a codification of energy, and it takes a certain vibration to attract it and manifest it. And, it's not hard for everybody. It can be hard. But you know what we pattern, one of the things I learned, fortunately, fairly early, I grew up very poor where I came from, and another story for another day. But one thing I did learn was I had a lot of beliefs about money that weren't serving me. And even things like, it's wrong to accept money for a spiritual gift. I'm like, would you not pay that musician for playing his music or that artist for his painting? Or, no, you use our gifts. It's fine. Money is the root of all evil. No, not really. It's, if that's what you believe and you're a good person, so knowing what we believe, because where our thoughts go, energy flows. And if you're like, oh, I'm always broke, if that's your belief system, Spirit's like, oh, is that the programming? Okay, I can do that.
No, Spirit, no, don't listen to me. I'm an idiot.
Oh, you better start rethinking.
Yeah, but what if instead you said, you know what? I always have the money I need, enough to pay my bills and extra so that I can take care of myself and other people who might need it too. And if that becomes your belief system and you truly, truly believe that and project that out there, that will become your reality. So, you and I can talk more offline. There's lots of little things that can help.
We got some things to discuss.
Yeah, I'm sensing a barter system happening very soon. There's going to be some sort of trade.
Listen, Alethea, this has been amazing, and we need you to come back like 20 more times.
Yay, we'll do. Anytime you invite me, I will come. I'm one of those people that, I'm like those friends. I'll meet friends at a workshop someplace, and they'll say, oh, I live here, and if you're ever in the neighborhood, you should stop by or come over. I'd love to have you spend the night. I call them.
Yep.
Hey, I'm coming to Phoenix in like 2 months.
Oh, was that an empty invitation? Because I'm taking it.
Guess what? I'm here.
Hello.
I love connections. I am a people person, as if you couldn't tell, right? I'm like the extroverts.
Never would have known.
Myers-Briggs scale, I love, and this to me, oh my God, I just got into podcasting a couple months ago. I didn't know about any of this. It was like all the social media stuff I was totally ignorant to. But I have my own show now. I have 2 of them on 2 different networks. One's called Spiritually Speaking with Alethea. That's on YouTube. And then I have Spiritual Street Talk. And that's on the Bigfoot Outlaw Network.
What? You just what? Okay. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna listen. Everything, all of it is gonna be in the show notes because Jenny's gonna need it soon in a second.
Yes.
You just froze up. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, sorry. I'm just very excited.
We are both very excited. Yeah, we're both very excited. Thank you so much for coming on.
Is there any other question anybody has? Or how about you ladies? Is there anything I can answer for you guys? Do you have a question that's in your mind or heart that I can just tune in real quick?
Oh,
or like I don't mind going a little over, but I don't know. I know it's a live show.
No, it's fine.
I don't care.
It's fine.
Longer, but...
Am I going in the right direction? That would be my question. Yeah. We've got a yes. Is that a yes?
Yes. It's a yes, but it's a qualified yes because I feel like Spirit is saying you are like the bird that's clutching desperately on the side of the nest, and the mama bird of Spirit's trying to push you out of the nest, saying,
"Listen, I've been telling
fly,
you,
woman, fly. You can fly."
Seems
it's
accurate.
Like you don't need more courses. You don't need more letters after your name. You don't need anything more than what you already have to be of service and to be successful. Just I want to say stop making excuses because your subconscious is really smart in how the excuses sound like it makes good sense and to just be more prepared. And I could do that. No. Once you know this much more than somebody else, you can teach them that much more. So, so stop procrastinating. Yeah, you're going to be great. Get that momentum going, get excited about it. Think of the most amazing outcome for it so that you don't want to put fear out when you're having a new venture, right? If you're going to be deciding, hey, I'm going to make this break. I'm going to do this thing that's always been on the back burner. And I always felt pulled to do it. And I think it's finally getting close to time. Yeah, it's past time. But that's okay. All right. It's okay. But you want to make sure that each step that you take, each action every day is moving you more in that direction, but you're visualizing that incredible success, how good you're going to feel. Because I bet you can tell I love what I do, right? Yeah. This doesn't feel like work to me. And I've been doing it over 40 years. It doesn't bore me. It doesn't wear me out. Anybody who says they do spiritual work and they're exhausted after work, they're not doing it right. All right. Because when Spirit's flowing through you, you get that contact high, you get charged up. It's like, woohoo, yeah, I'm going to be wired half the night after this nice conversation with y'all. Right. And I love it. I love it. Right. And I told, when Michelle called, I'm like, well, heck yeah. You can get a show where I can shine my light and share stuff and answer questions and have fun with people doing spiritual stuff. Who wouldn't want to do that? That's like, hey, you want that $1,000 that's flying on the ground there that nobody's claiming? Yeah. Let me have it, of course.
I just like that I'm about to break my neck agreeing with Spirit. Jenny, shut up and listen. What are you doing? Listen to me. I know what I'm saying because I'm listening to Spirit. Come on. I know what I'm talking about.
Well, and actually, Tressa, that's a beautiful point for your listeners to hear as well. One of the reasons to go have a reading with somebody you don't know is because they can validate things for you where you can believe it's coming from Spirit. Because if your best friend or a family member tells you the exact same thing that I do as a reader who doesn't know you from Adam or Eve, if all of a sudden you're like, well, how did they know that? Well, then they know, oh, yeah. And by the way, if you're receiving a reading, folks out there, this is really important. It should make sense to your brain. You have an intellect for a reason. It should feel good to your heart because you have that open heart for a reason. And it should ring true in your gut. It should go bing, bing, bing. When you hear things, if the reader is accurate, if the session is meaningful, it shouldn't be like, oh, it doesn't really make sense, or, oh, that doesn't feel right. If that's the case, don't you take on that stuff. Okay? Because you know what? Some people are not as good as others. Some people, they'll just wing it and fling it and see what sticks. No, you want to make sure that
I think part of that is just listening to your own body, because people have tuned that out. I know I did for a very long time. And once I started to actually listen and feel what my body's feeling, it all started to click. People don't know how to do that.
You don't have to call that gut anything really intuitive or deeply mystical. Just call it your BS meter.
Right.
We got that. Point. You know when somebody's like, it doesn't quite feel right.
Listen, we sure do.
Yeah.
And then
so it's important, even if you've paid them for the reading, you don't have to take on stuff that doesn't make sense, feel good, or feel right. Okay, we are given those 3 centers for a reason. And anything that we're trying to do in our life, any change we're trying to make, we want to check in with those 3 places. Does it make sense? Does it feel right? Does it empower us? Does it make that inner child and that our soul self, that intuitive self go, yeah, about time, let's move and groove, right? You want to have a coherence between your mind, your heart, and your gut on everything you do. And especially if you're in a spiritual venue, a realm of opening up for healing, opening up for a reading. And and by the way, open up if you're going to be read. Don't sit there tell me about me.
Yes, absolutely.
Work with me here.
It seems to be the best way to go. Listen, if I'm open, then you're going to see all of the stuff, and
which scares you.
That scares me.
Well, but
listen, we can't go into therapy right now. We need to wrap this up.
Trust is important, but also what's the intention of the reader, right? My intention is to give the person comfort, guidance, validation of whatever they've already been kind of thinking, help to maybe explain okay, what's this weird energy pattern that's been there for a while and blocking? So for you, Jenny, the pattern for you is, without getting into therapy, too much, is you never felt complete enough or good enough. So it's one more course, one more certification, one more credential, one more success, stacked on top of it would help to convince you, back to that convincer strategy, that, okay, now I'm ready, right? That's just an old pattern that you can let go, because you have more than enough. You are a rock star already. You have such energy around you. You have guidance. You have guides. You have loved ones in spirit that are like, we got you, girl. You got that, right? So you don't need to worry. You listen to spirit. You follow promptings. So they're not going to mislead you. One thing spirit never does, they don't waste our time or our money. So if we're really in tune with spirit, we're going to find ourselves again back at the right place, right time, meeting the right people to help us, or to help, help them help others. That's how it goes. That's like the rules, right? There are metaphysical truths out there, and that's one of them, in my opinion.
Awesome. Well, thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah, I love that so much for Jenny.
Look at you with putting your hands up too.
Look at me, I'm Jenny.
Raise the roof of spirit. Yeah, I'm that old. That's okay.
No, that's fine. We are too. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
And listen,
It gives us wisdom,
like,
though,
honestly, you need to come back like so
1,000.
many times, because we just scratched the surface of scratching the surface. Thank you so much.
Why don't we
Everybody else,
bonus question?
don't forget to find
Why don't you
us
scan through, and the first person in the chat who asks a question, we'll go after that one, so they can.
Yes.
I know we kind of dangled
Okay.
it out that we might read for somebody, but let's
That's
fulfill
fine.
our promise there.
They know that we are
All right.
liars. It's fine.
Oh no!
And we don't mean to be. We have the best
it just
intentions.
happens. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Everybody else, shut up! Don't forget to find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the Paranormal 60 Network. Like, comment, subscribe, and check out our merch.
wait, are we
on
not
our
doing this? What's going on?
on our what?
What are we gonna find it? I'm so confused.
Listen, we gotta wrap up. It's getting late. I'm so sorry. Do you want to do a read? And what are we doing?
We'll do one real fast. We'll do one real fast, right?
I'm very happy. If in the chat, if you scan the chat, if there's a question that pops out at you, just throw it at me, and whatever one it is, I'll assume that it's something that will apply to more than one person, and we'll just kind of end with a little of that.
Yeah, Jenny, do it. Jenny,
All right,
do it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it right
But
now.
we're at
Okay,
1:13, so I'm
yeah.
gonna do this real quick.
Yeah. All right. Oh man, I got nothing. I keep
What?
scanning up for questions, and then I see about
somebody Cosmic
Purple.
Joe asked about how to cancel out adverse karma.
There you go.
So,
Oh, there we go. All right, good. So I can stop.
all right, I just saw that
Yeah.
one.
Jenny.
What? I kept seeing things about Greg being purple, and then I noticed that my face was enormous on the screen.
It's fine.
So basically, the way that you burn off karma is by good works. So shine your light, make it a point to be kind, to be good to people, to be the best you can be, to always do the right thing, even if it's not the most convenient thing or necessarily best thing for you, but it's the right thing to do. So those constant choices build up the momentum. So instead of feeling like you're in a negative spiral where your life is out of control and getting worse and worse and worse, you start to build up a bridge in a way to get and to turn it going in the opposite direction. So, and it can be little random acts of kindness. You know, you may not have money to be able to be the benefactor and, bless people with all kinds of prosperity yourself yet, but doesn't cost you anything to tell the person on the grocery line, hey, I really like that sweater. Or, gee, your hair looks really great, or if it's somebody just go on little compliments. Or, hey, give the handicapped person the spot that's closest, even if it's not marked as handicapped, do little teeny acts of kindness. And I'll tell you, that just paves the way, because you know what? When spirit sees that your heart is open, you get more juice to share. They give you opportunities, and they say, oh, well, if you're doing that with next to nothing, let's see what you do when we start giving you more. And then prosperity starts showing up in your life. And the more you give, the more you get. The more you give, the more you get. So shifting into that, share what I have with a generous heart, a joyful spirit. It's not like I'm trying to game the system. So yeah, let me do this.
No.
They know your intention.
Yes.
Truly feel it and say, okay, you know what? Clearly, if I keep having what I'm perceiving to be as karma smacking me in my face over and over and over again, I haven't learned some lesson. So what do I need to see? Okay, maybe I need a little humility in this moment and open up to spirit and say, okay, clearly I haven't learned what you want me to learn. What do I need to do? Guide me, lead me, teach me, help me, right? And so from that place of humility and devoting yourself to the service of others, even in just little ways, well, like I said, with the random acts of kindness, help these ladies out. Share their links everywhere.
Thank you.
Tell all your friends about it. Like and share and follow and do all that good social media stuff. That doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of your time. That's
This
sharing the
woman knows
love.
what she's talking about. Yes, listen to her.
Yep. And Tressa, tell us about those links that you can share.
Oh, now you're ready for me?
Yeah, now I'm ready for it. It seems like a good spot.
Again. Thank you so much for being with us. No, listen, though. You really helped us out, and you were an amazing guest. We are so happy that we got connected. Thank you so much. And we will be having you on multiple times, whether you like it or not. Everybody else! Don't forget to find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the Paranormal 60 Network. Like, comment, subscribe, and check out our merch on our website, monstersloungepodcast.com. Send us an email or comment. We love hearing from people. So until next time, wait, what's the last line? Thanks for visiting the Monsters Lounge.